Good morning. I'm Derek, and I wanted to properly set up my work area, and I wanted to say you don't have to paint eyes. You can use a pen. This is a good sized pen right here, and that's how that's the way to paint eyes. Don't try to do it with a brush, in my opinion. Oop. How was that? Oh, catch the light. Oops. One of those looked pretty good. This dude's wearing glasses, but I think that whenever possible, use a pen, use a marker. That's what we're gonna do in just a little bit with our guns. We're going to touch that up. Ink's way less forgiving than a paintbrush. Yeah, you can't just not lick up with the brush, lick the brush. The paint licks the brush. You can't just use your brush to lick the paint up if you overshoot an area. And we get older. It might shake a little bit, but we just work around for that. Let's see. Here is one of our Imperial Guard convict troops, and he has some lovely shackles, I think, made out of Sculpey, and chain you can get at the hardware store for just a couple of bucks. Let's see if we can maybe zoom out just a little bit. And thinking like a cooking show, I have applied a very thin woody tan to a couple of the rattling snipers. But it's not a wood grain yet, and I have been struggling a lot with wood grain, and I think, I feel my solution might be human flesh tones. Human flesh tones look like wood to me. So the experiment is paint pens, and I've got varying results. One thing is the nib on the paint is awkward. Let's see, you have to press down a few times to get the paint going. And here we go. Now we can see that it's filling up a little bit. There. Let's get out of the way, and that is, it's not a bad little mark that it will make. And I can mark right there, and remember that that's where I want to be. Who has a good rifle with a lot? We're looking for a rifle butt, so. And the idea is that I'll use this guy for wood grain. I'll just use the little paint pen for the wood grain, and it's awkward. So maybe I would not recommend it. But you know, I like to experiment. I've got a little bit of paint and a totally awkward spot there on his arm. So we're gonna have to go by and touch that up. That's unfortunate. And rifle butt. We're gonna maybe have to figure out the autofocus on our phone there. Hoping it looks better later. That is awkward, and I can't imagine using it for a face, but you never know. Put too much paint on, so you can barely see his Imperial Guard insignia there on the rifle. There we go. I usually prefer the older models, and painting them for me is something that started during COVID. I used to do it in high school. Yeah, this paint pen, can't recommend. Let's try a face. Who over here needs a face? Let's see. He's got a face. Well, he has the blue shading, so he wouldn't have. I've been overzealous in my faces, and we'll have to think about that. Oops. We can still work on faces. And I have bases from several different eras and styles, and I'm not 100% sure how to deal with that. With the heavy weapons, we're going to deal with that in a... Well, we're just magnetizing everything. So we're magnetizing the weapon, the gunner, and the loader. And we just want to get a few drops of extra clean water. Where can we put that at? I will use anything as a palette. But I have misplaced my tiny water dropper. Oh. There we go. And I have some music from the fan game going. I think people like it. I can listen to it. That's the important thing for me. All right, let's get just a little bit of water going, and we'll just pull out a random flesh tone. We just put a few dots down. We don't need a lot. Let's see here. See, this time we have the cat's perch right next to the painting area, all set up for him, but no interest. But should we forget, cat's right there going, hey. A happy cat has a perch. So just make sure he's your cat, that your cat has just a little area. There we go. That wasn't a lot. Has a little area that they could sit, preferably from above, and watch you paint, and then they're gonna be happy. That's all that they want, I think. I've never really been good. I've usually been awful with flesh tones. But I find just like a base gray with one of these on top, one of these flesh tones on top, thinned out, and then a nice wash. A couple of nice washes. It's just a dark. It just seems to blend well. And that's okay if we cover something up, because we can always go back and touch him up a little bit. These convicts are back from the day. They're actually a Necromunda gang. But they're back from the day when penal legions were still in the game. I think they're out, so that's now they're just conscripts. So I get up to 30, I think, conscripts in a squad, and I've got about 30. Mostly last chancers. Still, I'm just not happy with that wood. So let's try another random flesh tone. It's a bit orange, okay. And let's just see how that looks going right over the top of the head there. Again, I'm just not getting a woody feeling from it. So I'll have to do some research and pick some brains, because I've seen it and I've just painted the scope. So I have to paint the scope on the other side then too, right? I don't know, maybe after a few layers. He started out primed all in black, so that presents its own advantages and challenges. There we go. Oops. And I have a bad habit of being very streaky and then trying to go over it again later. It's awful. All right. Just awful job on the gun, which don't forget that bit down there. I think it's salvageable. We just need to figure out a nice recipe or a solution. And to that effect, I'm gonna grab out, what have I got on silver Sharpies. Let's see, we got any. It is a well-used Sharpie, so might as well. I keep the X-Acto knife on a magnet with the files. That's why, so I always know where it's at, and we can just snip off some of those fibers that came from. There we go. Look at that. See. I like the. Yep. Darn. Went a little too deep there, but usually get a really nice effect with the silver Sharpie. And like a brush, you want to move it in a certain way. So we'll just try this one with its silver finish, and I've never had a problem with the Sharpie peeling with the paint on top. That's not bad for 10 seconds. Let's see if we can get a little bit better here and try to preserve that black line between the two barrels. Should be able to align the tip to get both. There we go, and preserve it. But that seemed like a lot of work for not much gain. We're just like dry brushing, but it goes on in a very satisfactory way. That's not bad, and we're still gonna try and get the wood going, but it's overall a decent, quick effect. Especially, a lot of, I see some posts online. Some of us older people getting back into painting, and well, the kids have discovered a whole bunch of neat tricks over the years, and there's good things to learn, the new stuff, but I'm a big fan of some of the traditional painting techniques. I do a lot of dry brushing, a lot of washes. I still think inks are a new idea. It's not bad. I mean, it's perfectly acceptable. Don't even want to look at the at that. Let's see. Yeah, exactly like dry brushing. Just, and you can get a kind of metallic, non-metal, metallic, a met, NMM, the that effect. You can get a nice bit of that. It's not bad. I just painted his fingernails. So we'll have to go back over with one of the flesh tones, but the silver Sharpie covers nicely. It's not a problem. But we can do a little bit of non-metallic metal with. I've got a few shades of Sharpies, and this one is the bronze. So it gives you more and less control. It's not bad. I mean, that could work. Okay, let's see if that's a fluke. We'll go silver first, just because I think it's the easiest color, and different silver Sharpie than the last one. We're going over paint that is still semi-wet, so that was a bad idea. And I think we've picked up some moisture. That is a very those Army Painter flesh tones are very, very translucent. This guy didn't turn out quite as well as the others, but that will happen. And it looks like I'm playing the video game in the background, the fan game, and it looks like there is a bit of a sound bug, but that's a good time to check out. We've played around with some Sharpies, and I really did want to try and give one of the new red coats. Of all ever since I was a kid, I wanted red coats, but never had an opportunity to paint up any. So these guys are my red coats. I indulged for one squad, and what I'm after is this gold trim. And I misplaced my gold marker in plain sight, so I have this guy right here. And I can go ahead. I don't care if I go too far, because I can touch up the red easy. Painting the gold is a bit tougher than painting the red, so and the Sharpie is best after it's been about half used, because then you don't it goes on just pretty good. You know, not too much. It's not overpowering. And always bring, okay, the sleeves should have been white, but we'll go over. There shouldn't be too much. There shouldn't, that dark shadowed spot shouldn't be there, because that's just where the ink welled up. And we'll go over that with white, so it'll have we'll have his white cuffs with a gold trim, because these are going to be my vets. And should we just very, very lightly, can we bring out the skull without going so deep as to lose anything? That's not bad, you know, and it reflects nicely. And so who else? Okay, where does he need? Okay, that's pretty good. And like I said, we'll trim that up with a little bit of white. And while we have that flesh that's already watered down right over here, why don't we take that and spill it? Why don't we take that and just give him a very light wash. Let's move everybody out of the way, because I think that we are sometimes having some focus issues because of that. And let's see if we can just lighten just his face. And it's okay that we are welling up right there. That's exactly what we want, because we will dry brush on top. So that's pretty good. And you know me, I like a nice big army. I'm gonna gray that out. And but I don't like everybody's, you know, face and you know, pants and boots to be exactly the same. I like to see a little bit of variation. And hey, I'm just gonna ramble for 30 seconds and thank everybody for your patience, especially after the last video with the cat. And I want to thank the cat for behaving today. And I'm going to make a nice video very soon in the fan game, explaining exactly, you know, what it is. Okay. And thanks everybody. And we're getting it together, and every day is just getting a little bit better, and we're carrying on. So have a great new year.